earlier today, the 7th ICT Summit kicked off and will continue over the next 3 days. Our colleague, Disheshi Hamfungu, is on site with the latest update. Disheshi, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you, Blanche. Very good afternoon to our viewers. We're still here at the MICT Hotel, which is playing host to the 7th National ICT Summit. It's midday here on day one of the summit, and I'm joined by the Deputy Minister for Information and Communications Technology to briefly update us on what has transpired so far, as well as her hopes in terms of the outcomes of this summit. Honorable Theophilus, very good afternoon. How are you doing?
Very well. How are you doing, Andrew?
Great, thank you. First and foremost, what do you make of the opening session of this very important 7th National ICT Summit here?
Thank you so much, and I hope all the viewers at home have been watching our live stream of this very important summit. As you know, the 7th National ICT Summit has come at the cusp of COVID-19. We have not had it for the last 3 years, particularly because of COVID-19. But it's very important because in order for the industry to grow, even after the recovery of the pandemic, it requires industry players, government, private sector, citizens to come together and converge and discuss about the future of the industry. And the conversations we've had this morning alone so far have indicated that when we talk about the theme around cyber security, where we have citizens going online, affording phones and data and transacting online, necessary measures have to be put in place for them to be safe online, but more importantly, to use the internet, to use online spaces for economic recovery. We're talking about the digital economy, we're talking about digital literacy, digital skills. Every citizen is impacted one way or another, and the conversation so far is geared towards that.
Very much so. What are your personal hopes as Deputy Minister for Information and Communications Technology to come from the summit here?
The summit has demonstrated that every single player is important. Government cannot move the digital transformation of this country forward all alone. Every player needs to come on board to play their part, whether it's to invest skills, expertise, finances and resources, because ICT is not cheap. I wish it was. Unfortunately not. ICT is not a cheap endeavor, but the benefits and the dividends it can produce are so significant and are sustainable. So my hope is that as we converse, because before we can have a goal, a plan, we must sit and agree. We must sit and have compromises and debate and discuss and argue, but come up with a clear plan which everybody agrees on how to move the industry forward. And I hope this summit provides that bedrock, that foundation for every player leaving this room on the third day about what their role will be in ensuring that ICT transformation is possible in Namibia.
I'm glad you're talking about, collaboration and everybody bringing their part, because oftentimes when we speak about ICT, there seems to be this disjointedness, everybody operating in silos, trying to do their own thing, especially when you compare, private and the state,
Yeah.
What do you personally make of that, and how do platforms like this perhaps bring about better collaboration here?
Yeah, no, we learned very important lessons the past 3 years, and even the summit with all the sponsors that came on board and partners that came on board is demonstrating that we cannot always compete. We must collaborate. And yes, in the past there is some disjointment in terms of where everybody believes the industry should go, how ICT should look like for the ordinary citizen, what ICT should look like for a business entity, what ICT should look like for government. But I think this past 3 years and this summit is bringing all of us together to demonstrate that we should actually then find a way where everybody has their own unique setup in the ICT ecosystem, but geared towards one goal. And I think now that we are here discussing all of that, it's becoming very clear that ICT is not some abstract, far-off concept. No. Digital transformation is not far away. Yeah. It's here and now. Regardless of any gaps that exist, regardless of any challenges in terms of investment resources, ICT is penetrating our daily lives, whether we like it or not. At the level at which it's doing so might be different for everybody, but the fact of the matter, it's here and it's here to stay. So everybody then should have some sense of urgency in ensuring that it works best for us, regardless of its pitfalls, but works best for us to ensure that we continuously contribute to our developmental agenda, which is
Absolutely.
incremental in nature. Not everything will be achieved today, or the next 3 days, or the next
But
5
with
years.
baby steps eventually.
Baby steps, and we will definitely get there.
Just before I let you go, Deputy Minister, I know that you've been pushing the e-governance agenda as well. You're basically at the forefront of it. You've had a lot of engagements, not only here in Namibia, but abroad as well. Talk to us briefly about what you've perhaps observed and how far are we from fully transforming, the current state of doing things, to moving with the times, yes.
Absolutely. E-government is very important. With the Office of the Prime Minister being the custodian entity around this, as the Ministry of ICT, we're giving our utmost support because we truly believe that Namibia has the potential to give e-government services to citizens because of the dynamic and complex country we have. People are traveling kilometers and spending a lot of money to get government services where otherwise they can do so in the comfort of their homes and at the tips of their fingertips through their mobile phones.
Exactly.
So we believe it's possible. Yes, it might not be possible for everybody because there are gaps in terms of digital literacy and skills and affordability of data and devices, which this summit has demonstrated that with our regulatory authority of Namibia we're addressing, but we do have the potential to truly bring service delivery at the doorstep of our people so that they're able to get government services in a qualitative manner, but in a manner that will improve their lives. And this is why at the ministry, and particularly my office, we're championing e-government because we believe it could be a game changer in bringing services to our citizens.
Lastly, have we lost sufficient grounds due to the pandemic as far as ICT is concerned?
Honestly, before COVID-19, the ICT sector only contributed 6% to the GDP. Now we're talking about 17.5%. So we have clearly shown and demonstrated that when everything else was shut down, ICT was able to thrive.
Absolutely.
And even now, ICT will continue to thrive. So I do believe we have not lost any ground. If anything, we have gained a lot of ground and we have demonstrated that ICT is the connector of every industry.
Very much. Deputy Minister, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the summit here.
Thank you so much.
There you have it. Deputy Minister for Information and Communications Technology, Emma Theophilus, is talking to us about her take on the importance of this platform. You've heard it. It's day one. We just marked halfway of day one. Of course, continuing all the way until Wednesday. It is the 7th National ICT Summit.